I just want to be free.
I can set you free.
Julie, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, happy J6 Day.
Happy
and
January
I'm here
6th.
to satisfy your fix.
Yes, I'm in Julie Kelly withdrawal because there's been so much happening that doesn't make any sense. And every producer at this company knows, I scream into our landline telephones that we have here, "Get me Julie!" What the hell's going on? What the hell's going on with this FBI thing? Let's just pipe bomb. Let's just jump right into it. Like first off, why now? Okay, like why now? It gives me the willies. Okay, it gives me like my spider sense is tingling. Like what opera are they trying to pull here?
Well, the night that the FBI posted their new bulletin followed several hours after I broke the story of a new House report authored by Representative Barry Loudermilk and Tom Massey that still has all of these unanswered questions about the pipe bomber, and actually caught the former head of the Washington FBI field office, Stephen D'Antuono, in a lie. He said that one of the cell phone files from one of the cell phone providers that they received had been corrupted. And that's why we can't track down. You could see this individual on the phone several times, and said, that must be why we can't track down with cell phone data who this individual is. And so it was this lengthy report. I have a piece up on my Substack about it, but it basically says the FBI failed to identify the pipe bomber, even though they had some suspects early on. They didn't follow up on that. And really, Benny, the investigation went cold in February of 2021. Despite initially allocating a lot of resources, about 50 agents, they conducted 1,000 interviews. They looked at 40,000 hours of video. They had 500 tips come in. Benny, they actually went to retailers to find out who purchased those Nike shoes, who purchased the backpack, who purchased the elements that were found in these devices. So despite using every tool at their disposal, they still can't find out who this individual is. So it's just impossible to believe. And of course, there's all sorts of other questions about this. Most importantly, Benny, 4 years ago, Kamala Harris left the Capitol after a Senate intelligence briefing and inexplicably went to the DNC at 11:25 a.m. Now, we still don't know why she left. Not only was she the incoming historic vice president, she was a sitting U.S. senator at the time. So why did she leave the Capitol, go to DNC headquarters, where her security detail on numerous occasions missed this pipe bomb? We are told by the FBI was planted the night before. Her motorcade came within 20 feet of this device. On 2 occasions, bomb-sniffing canines also missed it. But the FBI told us it was viable and it was lethal. And she has never talked about it to this day, Benny. And she was evacuated at about 1:15, 15 minutes after the joint session of Congress began. So why did she go there? How did her security detail, including canines, miss that device? Why was she still there after the joint session began at 1 o'clock? And why has she never to this day discussed her near assassination by the MAGA pipe bomber on January 6, 2021?
So zooming out, based on all the conversations we've had, Julie, we're just going to speculate here what this op was. The op was to have somebody who is a Fed or is working with the Feds, who's been granted, of course, the blanket anonymity, and we'll never find you, right? We're never going to look really that hard. You're going to create mass panic. And we're going to be able, no matter what happens on J6, no matter what shakes down on J6, we're going to, at the very least, be able to claim that there was some type of MAGA terrorist that tried to create and incite terror. And at the very best, this is going to pull resources away from the United States Capitol to create the conditions of a riot and make that more likely. That's the way that I see this. And then the final cherry on top is we'll put Kamala Harris in the line of this thing in order to say that this was an attack directly on her and to make her some type of massive victim. And to say that, she'll be able to wear a badge forever and say, I'm a survivor of a MAGA terrorist attack, right? And how dare you, right? And you did this because I'm the first black vice president, woman, whatever. This was the response we got from Stephen Sund. That kind of shocked me on X. We posted this video, and I want to get your response to it. As I've said from the beginning, the pipe bombs were no coincidence. I believe that they are a calculated diversion to pull resources from the Capitol. Sold the key to unraveling January 6th, which is crazy. I was like, wait, this is nuts. Like, this is the actual guy who was in charge on January 6th saying the pipe bombs were a Fed op. Okay, so that's my take. But I am no expert. Can you help me fill in the gaps here? Am I right? Am I wrong? What are your thoughts?
Well, it certainly appears that some sort of government asset, whether it was an FBI informant or someone else working for the government, or perhaps another political interest, to do exactly what Chief Sund said. And that is, now the timing of this is important too, Benny. So the joint session was convened at 1 o'clock. At 12:40, a woman doing her laundry, Carlin Younger, who also is tied to law enforcement, and FirstNet, which is funded by the FBI, just happened to go do her laundry. Dumped it off at noon in this alleyway between the RNC headquarters and the Capitol Hill Club, which you see in that video there. 12:40, she starts running, you could see her on video, to a security officer at the Capitol Hill Club claiming, I just found a pipe bomb by this little doorway that she had to enter to go do her laundry. Apparently very strange. So that set off the first wave of panic. Then, for some inexplicable reason, they wanted the DNC, the Secret Service and Capitol Police and DC Metro, who were there, to look for a pipe bomb there. And then at about 1:07, the pipe bomb is discovered. Now, Benny, it was not hidden. It was laying on the ground under a shrub between two benches. And you can see for hours. And actually, I'm the one who found that the two occasions where the bomb sniffing canine went right past it. It's impossible to believe that that device had been sitting there for almost 18 hours and no one saw it. Passersby, other police officers, other pets, etc.
School children, right? Like a group of school children?
Yeah. Exactly right. So we're supposed to believe all of these individuals, including Secret Service agents, missed this device. But what I've covered at my Substack, and you and I have talked about, after the RNC discovery of the pipe bomb, you see a plainclothes police officer, we believe Capitol Police, who goes into this frame. Now, you could see right there, Benny, where, see that scooter? That's also odd. The scooter and then the two benches behind it. The pipe bomb, we're told, was right in between those two benches underneath the shrub that was there. So you could see this Capitol Police officer. Now, this is the only time, though, Benny, this camera is aimed at those benches. That's it. Otherwise, we can't see what happened the night before, the rest of the day. They pan out after the alleged discovery of this device and then quickly zoom back in. So you can't actually see the discovery of the device. The sketchy video that we see of the pipe bomber outside the DNC, that's their own security camera. And I urge people to go look at Darren Beatty's report at revolver.news, where he talks about the choppiness of this video, the poor quality, 1 frame per second, which you can't even buy a camera with that. I mean, like that slow speed. It's back to like the 1970s. And what Darren suggests is that it has been tampered with to demonstrate this individual who was sitting there twice, actually, that evening, January 5th. So how can they continue to round up people who walked in the Capitol for 8 minutes with police standing right there, use all their investigative techniques to track down, grandmothers from Florida, but still can't find the person who almost assassinated Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi's motorcade drove past there at about 2:30, while the bomb, we're told, was still active, had not yet been detonated. I mean, none of this adds up. Absolutely none of it.
None of it adds up. Is this a real video, or do they fake this too? Do you think this is real, like actual authentic video, or do you think this is fake?
So I posted this, and I believe I have this at my Substack. So that's one camera angle of a camera outside or attached to the DNC headquarters. There's another angle as well, but the video captured on that camera is quicker than that one. And so how can you have one camera at one angle that's moving, capturing video much quicker than that video? And then it appears, and I know we're getting in the weeds here, but this is why the FBI's conduct here is so suspicious. They slowed down the camera that was quicker to match the slower camera when that's not how the footage was originally released. So they can't even get the basic things right. Like, if you're going to cover something up and continue to do so over 4 years, at least try to have some consistency where people cannot quickly identify what you've doctored as you're trying to pretend that you're looking for this MAGA bomber. So anyway, House Republicans, and I know Jim Jordan just alluded to this as well, not only just looking into the J6 committee, but still all of the unanswered questions about J6, starting with this suspect still at large.
Very quickly here, Julie, why now? Like, I guess we haven't gotten to that question. They're not actually trying to find this bomber. Like, what's going on now? Is this a cover-up operation? Are they going to find the bomber right before Kash Patel takes the chair? Like, with your expert opinion, what do you think is happening?
I think this is part of the cover-up, obviously, that they're pretending that they're still looking for this individual. Questions that have been raised in Congress, questions that are raised in the media, you and I talking about this for the past few years.
Yes.
And certainly you have to believe they are extremely nervous about FBI Director Kash Patel, as they should be. So yes, I think this was just a head fake before January 6th. I think it was also to tamp down coverage of the report that had been released earlier that day. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, Benny, this is just an FBI at every stage in the game that cannot be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, it's amazing to have the former chief of police, the chief of police on January 6th, to have him respond to us on X and say, this entire thing was a fed up. It was meant to divert my resources from the Capitol so that January 6th could happen. Dude, if you've lost that guy, like, you're this close to total collapse of the entire narrative. You're this close. So how about the final collapse of the narrative? Donald Trump saying he's going to pardon thousands of J6ers on January 1. My final question to you, Julie, today. You must be celebrating this joyously. This was an announcement yesterday that was leaked by Bloomberg, I believe, reported out by Bloomberg. Does this match your reporting? How do you think this should be done? What is your advice to President Trump?
I think almost all of the J6ers should be pardoned, except those with criminal records. And those with criminal records, they speak for themselves, and we'll see what's happening with those cases. But the overwhelming majority, Benny, upwards of 90%, I would guess, have no criminal record, yet their lives have been destroyed over minor misdemeanors that have never been used in this way. And so President Trump has said he will be doing something on January 20th, that afternoon, in an executive order. I read the Bloomberg piece. It didn't have a lot of detail in that and didn't even seem to be sourced to anyone in particular. So I'm not so sure that it's saying anything different than what we're expecting, which is, at least on day one, pardoning hundreds of J6ers who have been convicted or pleaded guilty to the 4 or 5 common low-level misdemeanors, perhaps even civil disorder. And certainly, I would urge the president to immediately pardon and dismiss any pending indictments on the now reversed 1512c2 obstruction of an official proceeding statute that was overturned by the Supreme Court in June. Believe it or not, Benny, Matthew Graves, the DC U.S. attorney, has not issued a blanket order vacating or request to vacate all of those convictions. Defendants still have to go case by case and ask the judge to either dismiss the pending charge or vacate the conviction. And Matthew Graves, nonetheless, still fighting to keep people in federal prison on a count that has been deemed unlawful by the Supreme Court. So this is just giving some context to the need for President Trump to act swiftly, which it appears that he will, but also more broadly, and not leaving out people who face convictions even of assaulting or interfering with police, because a lot of those cases are bogus as well. The government withholding exculpatory evidence and certainly every single trial being held in a city almost completely populated by Democrats.
What an evil little goblin orc, that Matt Graves. Oh, what a sick puppy, that guy. I hope he has some justice waiting for him. We keep pushing members of Congress. They're all clammy about it. They're all like, oh, we will follow the process. Like, nobody has the balls to just be like, no, man, these guys belong in prison.
Benny, Matthew Graves issued a statement today warning that he may charge up to 200 more J6ers before January 20th. That's how evil this man and this Department of Justice are.
What a sick bastard, man. We're gonna have the Viceroy on in just a second here, Mike Davis, and so we'll.
Good.
This is the crime and punishment. This is the good cop, bad cop. Okay, you guys like an amazing, dude. If you're Jack Smith and you're sitting there in an interrogation room and like Mike Davis and Julie Kelly are the ones doing your interrogation, you're cooked. You're cooked.
I wish.
Yeah, you're cooked. You're done. Okay, just self-deport to Guantanamo Bay now, please. Hopefully they'll share a cell with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. We hope that you share a social media subscribe and follow to the great Julie Kelly. Thanks. Here is her X page. I think this is probably the best nexus for Julie Kelly. Then also, of course, her Substack, which is right here. Julie Kelly has some absolute bombshell reporting. The best out there, ladies and gentlemen. Go give her a follow. It'll be your best follow of 2025. The great Julie Kelly.
Thank you.
Godspeed, and this will be a glorious day to watch Kamala Harris take the L.
Thanks, Betty. You're the best. Thanks.
Happy J6.
For it.
Happy J6, Julie.